Hey everyone, thanks so much for joining us today. Are we live on everything? Awesome. Thanks for joining us this Monday for one of our, I think to me, this is a favorite topic of mine, but it can be very confusing and it can be very in-depth. So we're going to try to sum it up and not go too much down a rabbit hole, basically. So thank you again, Lisa, Dr. Ryan. Today, we're going to talk about bloating, digestion, anxiety, and fat loss. So have you heard that your gut is your second brain? I think a lot of us have heard that term. Maybe we don't really know what it means. And what if we told you that you could actually lose weight by healing your gut, right? Could be as simple as that. Sometimes this is like just the missing factor in our weight loss journey can be our gut. But our gut is not just about weight loss. It's about so much more. And that's what we're going to get into today. So first of all, I want to make sure you have subscribed to our channel. That way you don't miss any of these that we do. And it also helps you. You can go back and watch all the other ones that we've previously done. And we love your comments. So please comment, comment throughout this, because we'll kind of, as we're going through each topic of the gut, we can answer questions along the way, but then always at the end, we will answer questions as long as it pertains to what we're talking about today.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Love the engagement.
Yes, the engagement is huge. So, and if you're new to joining us, welcome. We love newcomers and we love repeats. Repeats, that means you like listening to us and you've learned something from us. And the feedback really has been great. I mean, I'm told very often that what we bring to the table is very educational. And again, we try to not get too scientific and too in-depth about something because that's not necessary. It's necessary just to understand and let us make the point so you guys can have a take-home message and something to act on. And before we start, if you guys hear knocking, sorry.
Yeah, sorry about that.
We're next to a warehouse and apparently they're doing something and the banging keeps happening.
We're in one of our two warehouses here.
Yes.
And next door neighbors are banging away.
Yes. Okay, so today we're going to cover the science of the microbiome, how to decrease bloating and improve digestion, which most people think about when we're talking about the gut.
Sure.
The relationship between anxiety and the gut, so there's the brain connection there. How to achieve fat loss by focusing on the gut. What factors impact the gut microbiome, and then how to really fix and work on the gut microbiome, which will come into our introduction of our LiveGood probiotic gut support supplement that we just recently launched. Super excited about that. So first, let's just kind of dive into the science of the microbiome, because maybe you've heard microbiome, maybe you've just heard gut. Let's talk about it. So the gut microbiome, the gut microbiome refers to all the microbes. Okay, our bacteria, viruses, fungi in our intestines.
And other stuff.
Yes, but the main categories.
Yeah.
And they help us digest food. They support our immune system, our heart, and our brain health. So it's these microbes, what's going on in our gut affects so much of our entire body. So we have to understand that, the importance of it. So the gut microbiome begins to affect your body the moment you are born, the moment you enter this world. And as you grow, your gut microbiome diversifies, meaning it starts to get more in different kinds of microbial species. So we talk about when we're born. So we get so much going through the birth canal, and then also being that first, breastfed from the mother. There's so much that goes on into the beginnings of our gut.
Yeah, those two things are really important too, right? I'm not to say that cesarean sections are unnecessary, because they certainly serve a place, right, in the medical world.
Sure.
But if you have the choice, you absolutely want to go for a natural vaginal birth, and you absolutely want to breastfeed.
Right. And even if it's not long term, I mean, I understand everybody's
to colonize.
Things are different, but the very beginning, that beginning colostrum, just those first few weeks are crucial to help the baby form that gut microbiome. Again, it starts that very beginning.
Sure does.
Okay? So
and finally, formulas caught on to some of the things that are happening as far as the microbes that are there and what they're doing and how they're breaking down certain fibers that the human body cannot break down. So it's fascinating science, and it's pretty conclusive. It's not like it's just speculative at this point. Like they're pretty sure that this is pretty certain that this is the way it goes.
Sure. And just to give you a little fun fact of what's going on, there are more bacterial cells. There are more bacteria cells than in the human body than human cells. There are more bacteria cells than human cells. So it's pretty crazy. So we really need to pay attention to these, because you also have to think about it too. Like, not all bacteria are good. right? So it's a diverse microbiome, but also a well-balanced microbiome is our goal.
Yeah.
So again, it's very important for overall health to have a diverse and balanced microbiome. That is the number one goal for all parts of what's going on, whether we're discussing something about the brain, whether we're discussing the heart, the gut. It is extremely important to have a diverse and balanced microbiome. And you maybe have heard of the term dysbiosis. That's when we have an imbalance in our gut microbiome. So maybe there's more bad than good, or we just have too much of one kind and not enough of another. So we're unbalanced, right? I don't know. Do you have anything to elaborate on? Just kind of a little bit of the nitty gritty, the science behind it all.
No, but accepting the fact that the microbiome is so unique. It's N of 1 to you. It depends on where you live. It depends on all of your lifestyle habits. It depends on the medications you take, but we'll talk about that a little bit later.
Sure.
But again, where you live, source local. Try to source local foods. Try to eat things that are as fresh as possible, that are ripe, that are high in phytonutrients and high in fiber. I mean, these are the things that we'll talk a little bit about today. But again, trying not to eat from things that are covered with barcodes, right? You don't want to eat too much processed food, and we'll talk about that today. But
sure,
certainly, you're going to cover so many of the bases of supporting the diverse microbiome just by choosing locally grown natural foods,
right?
Whole foods,
right? So you think about, let's just think about our skin, for example. Is our skin is reflective of our skin health. Is like a lifetime of aging. So maybe we never.
Wait, say that again.
A lifetime of aging, like of sun exposure. So our skin, we're born.
Oh, you're saying just as this skin.
Right. We have our skin, and as we age, depending on what we do and did with our skin,
right,
sun exposure, diet, all that. Same thing goes with our gut. So like a lifetime of like poor diet and a bad lifestyle is really going to take toll on the gut. Now, it doesn't mean, the one cool thing about the gut is it's very adaptive. Like you can make changes to the gut pretty quickly. It doesn't mean that once they change, they're there. It's something you constantly always have to work on. But I don't want you to think of it something like you've constantly been eating poor your whole life and lack of exercise, poor everything. And then you've decided to make a change that, there's no turning back. You just have a lot of work to do. That's all.
Were you trying to draw a parallel between, so you're just trying to use that skin as a metaphor, as an example of how the gut can also show signs of aging.
Right, but we don't see our gut.
We don't see our gut.
See our skin.
In the skin with excess sun and toxins. And okay, I got you.
Yeah.
I follow.
Thanks.
Very cool.
Clearing that up.
Yeah, no. 3 to 4 days actually would be about the timeline you could expect to see a change if you made a major adjustment to your gut. Or your food intake, or by supplementing with a probiotic, 3 to 4 days, and you can start to see significant changes.
Which is awesome. And again, it doesn't always stay there. So you have to keep working. You can't just do it and stop.
Yeah.
You got to take care of it. Okay. So let's talk about how to decrease bloating and improve digestion, because
maybe talk about digestion first, but can I talk about that real quick?
Yeah.
Like if you're going to go for food, right? You're going to eat food. The first thing you do is you smell it. So your olfactory bulbs. We talked about this with essential oils, the impact of what happens, but from a digestive process, it's already started releasing enzymes and preparing the mucosal lining to go to work. So the mouth starts breaking it down with enzymes, and obviously as you digest, it goes into the stomach where it gets tumbled, and pulverized into sort of a sludge. At the same time, it's releasing all these enzymes. It's releasing of course, the microbes, the bacteria, the virus, the different things that are in there, the fungi. That all of this stuff's going to work to break down this food. And a lot of stuff's happening in the gut, but really most of your nutrients absorb in the small intestine. So this is the digestive process, right? And then by the time it reaches your large intestine, your colon, it absorbs back the water. And then you void through your rectum. But this whole process is such an important component to how we extract nutrients out of the foods we eat. And you'll hear that the bacteria, specifically the bacteria, play a giant role in this process.
Right. And there's so many, I feel like you could probably relate to this, but there's so many of you that have been diagnosed with IBD, irritable bowel disorder, IBS, which falls under it, but it's basically a category of not necessarily knowing what's going on, but it's a category of symptoms that we get: bloating, gas, diarrhea, constipation. And it all starts with, a disrupted microbiome.
Sure.
And, but a lot of times, it's hard to know the root cause, like what is going on, unless you go through testing, you do stool samples, you get to test the microbes on what's going on in your gut. It's a hard thing to to treat. So it just kind of lumped into like, these are your symptoms, you have IBD, okay? So really what's going on when a lot of the gas and bloating and poor digestion happens is our food is not being digested properly. It's being fermented in our gut.
Exactly.
We get overgrowth of bacteria. We get yeast.
Exactly.
And all of that going on will lead to the bloating and lead to the gas and discomfort. And I mean, I think there's nothing worse than a stomach ache. So
right.
You know,
so right here, yes, bloating, please. I need help with that. So Lisa was saying, and exactly what Lisa said, a dysbiosis, the wrong balance of bacteria, different things going on, whether it's we'll talk about the causes that throw this dysbiosis into play here. But man, you get that food in there, and now a lot of it doesn't digest. Some of this stuff, the fibers that cannot get broken down by the human body, are now just in there fermenting, and they're putting off gas, and they're just